Dawgz.com here with your halftime show for the Georgia LSU SEC championship game. I don't know, they're talking about on TV how Georgia should be happy with themselves. I don't see how they're going to be so happy scoring 3 points in this first half. And I'll tell you, not really even getting close. The first play of the game, they had a wide open receiver. He dropped the ball, and that was really as good as it's looked for Georgia in this first half. To me, it's been a story of the LSU defense getting into the backfield against Fromm, stuffing the Georgia running game. Georgia's got 3 points. They missed one field goal. LSU has a missed field goal. And I think Georgia is extremely lucky to be down 17-3. But that they should be happy with it, I don't see it. You know, maybe I just see things differently. I'm not really sure. But I'm certainly not seeing anything here from Georgia that leads me to believe they're seeing anything they should be happy with at all. If you've been following my football picks today, if you got a chance to watch my videos,
welcome to Picks and
if you got a chance to watch any of my videos, then you've been cashing every single football game. We've hit every football game so far. We've got Cincinnati in this one against Memphis. It's a 3-point game now. Memphis is leading, but I think that one's far from over. Hawaii moving the ball on Boise, but throwing some interceptions in the end zone. That would be our first loss of the day if that score holds up. But I'm not convinced it's going to be honest. I think Hawaii has done plenty in that game to show that they could play with Boise, and I expect them to get some points on the board. I'm waiting for tomorrow's college basketball lines to come out so I can start doing my videos. I'm going to be doing all the NBA videos, 8 of them, and then I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 college basketball, 8 NBA, and then I'll be doing the dog of the day. So we'll have 19 videos for tomorrow. Yeah, Baylor almost got it, but they covered, and that's good enough. We'll always take a cover any day of the week. Of course, we'd rather have the money line like we got with Miami of Ohio. Florida Atlantic, easy winner. App State held on for the cover. Yep, if you parlayed the 4 college football premium picks, so far those games 2-0, and we have LSU right now working. We have not talked about the game yet. All we've talked about was what's happened in the game so far. We haven't given out a pick for the second half yet. I was going to give it a second, let the line settle in. But like I said, I haven't seen anything from Georgia here to make me believe that they're going to come back. My pick was LSU for the game. I don't give out first half picks. My premium pick was LSU on this game. LSU is minus 3.5 for the second half after, even though they're covering the initial spread by 14 points. That just shows you how much they are dominating in this game. Just absolutely crushing Georgia. I'm showing it at 3.5. I think Georgia's lucky to be there at only down 14. I think the announcers have that part right, where Georgia. They say Georgia's got to be happy. I don't think they're happy. I think that they're fortunate, but they're getting whooped on the lines, both the offensive and defensive lines. Especially the defensive line against that big Georgia offensive line, just getting stomped by the LSU defense. No room to run, no room for Fromm to do it, and then when his receivers do get open, they're just not catching the ball, or he's not getting it to him. So some obvious issues here with Georgia in this first half. Of course, there's 2 halves to a game. We've seen, a lot of games go one half to the next. Whether they are able to do it here, I'm not sure. But what we see is Cincinnati knocking on the door in Memphis, looking to punch it in for a touchdown. We got Hawaii inside the 10 in the red zone as well on the blue turf in Boise. But we have a stop there in Boise. Cole McDonald, it looks like an incomplete pass there at the 6-yard line. I mean, the ball was only going to the 2. And we've got a touchdown here in Memphis as the Cincinnati Bearcats are in the end zone for the score to take the lead in what is a back and forth game in this AAC championship. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about the LSU 255 yards and only 17 points. It's not like Georgia's close. It's not like this is a close game. I mean, how many yards does Georgia have? I mean, it's not like they're going to find answers because it's a mismatch on the line. So I don't see how Georgia finds any answers. I don't see how they find running room. I think the only thing that they're lucky is if Fromm, makes it out of here in one piece. That's what they have to be hoping for at this time. But I don't know. I think we stick with our LSU bet that we have. If you need to bet the second half, we take LSU again. I mean, they're dominating here. The line is 3.5. It's, we're already in at -7 for the game. We're up by 7 on that one. Now we'd have to battle it out again, to get the 3.5. So, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go in that direction. If you have LSU for the game, which I do. I mean, if you need to bet the second half, then bet it. But I don't see a need. But the college basketball lines for tomorrow look like they're finally coming out. That's what I've been waiting on to do my video picks. I like LSU here, though. I think they're playing well. Pretty much what we expected. Neither of those two teams, I've never once said that either of those teams would be my pick for the championship. It's certainly not Ohio State. They've played nobody. Ohio State has played nobody. I don't know how they're the number 1 team in the country. It doesn't even make any sense. They should be 3rd. Anyways. For our halftime show, my pick is going to be LSU minus the 3.5. Of course, I'll be back for the halftime of the Ohio State-Wisconsin game tonight, so be sure to tune in then. But for me, the second half pick is going to be LSU. This is just a dominating performance, and I don't see, I don't see how Ohio State is 1 or 2. It doesn't make any sense at all. Zero sense that they're 1 or 2. They've played nobody. They played absolutely nobody. I like Wisconsin tonight with the points against Ohio State. That's for sure. I think Wisconsin has a chance at the outright win. The Puck Dogs were against me this morning with Miami of Ohio against Central Michigan. Loved Miami of Ohio. Took them on the money line in that one. Had Baylor on the money line. Had them with the points. Premium picks on Florida Atlantic, Appalachian State, and LSU so far. And I like LSU second half. LSU should be number 1 regardless. I don't think, it's LSU or Clemson. The argument for Clemson at number 1 is, well, they're the number 1. They won the national championship last year. They haven't lost in 2 years. They haven't lost since the playoff game against Alabama 3 seasons ago. And they have a national championship trophy from last year sitting in their trophy case at Clemson. So I think in order to be the team, you got to beat the team. And LSU and no one has beaten Clemson since that, and none of these teams look like they can. So I'm not really sure why Clemson isn't still the number 1 team in the country. As far as the everybody else argument, LSU, if they beat Georgia here, they will have beaten Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Florida. Ohio State beat Cincinnati, Indiana, Michigan, Penn State. Who would you take in those matchups? Florida versus Indiana. Florida versus Cincinnati. Alabama versus Cincinnati. Alabama versus Indiana. Alabama versus Michigan. I mean, who would you take in that game? I mean, it's that simple. It is that simple. I mean, who would you take? Auburn versus Cincinnati, Auburn versus Indiana, Auburn versus Penn State. Who would you take in those games? Who would you take, Alabama or Penn State? I mean, basically, if you're putting Ohio State 1, you're saying that Penn State and Michigan could both beat Alabama, Auburn, and Florida. And that, I don't see it. It's like there's no way that would happen. How could that? I mean, what thought process is this? What thought process is this? Who hasn't played anyone? Clemson? Clemson hasn't lost in 2 years. They haven't lost in 2 years. They're the defending national champion. Until somebody beats you, you're still number one. They got the same quarterback. They're rolling teams. They're winning by 30 points. Clemson's last 8 games, they've won by 31 or more in each of their last 8 games. So yeah, if you played my video picks on college football, you're undefeated today so far. We're in trouble maybe in this Hawaii game, but outside of that, you are unbeaten. We lost yesterday with Utah, but we gave out the over in the video pick, so we hit that. So we got a chance on those video picks for 9 out of 10-ish. Still, we're alive for 9 out of 10 on those. So, yeah, I don't even understand the whole Ohio State argument even. I don't even understand how they're ranked where they are, let alone, if they deserve to be ranked over LSU. I don't see how they're ranked over Clemson, because those two teams did play in the playoff a few years ago also, and Clemson beat them 26-0. So, it was the same argument. Oh, Ohio State, they haven't played anybody and all that other stuff. We're having the same conversation, and I was saying the exact same things. Ohio State hasn't played anybody, and they were like a 6-point favorite against Clemson. They never even got a whiff of scoring against Clemson. And they won't this year either. Clemson will destroy Ohio State if they play them. Crush them. Crush, crush, crush. Like 10-star play. Something you never heard me say. Lock. Stone cold lock. I've used that term maybe 5 times in the 12 years that I've been handicapping online. Clemson, Ohio State, Miami, Notre Dame, Alabama, Notre Dame. Those are really the handful of times that I've said that word lock. But Clemson against Ohio State is a stone cold lock. Stone cold lock that Clemson will whip them up. No problem. Absolutely no problem. They've played nobody. Who would you rather have at quarterback, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields? I mean, Trevor Lawrence is way better. Who would you rather have, the Clemson wide receivers or the Ohio State wide receivers? Clemson. Who would you rather have, Etienne or whatever his name is, number 2 on Ohio State? Etienne, right? 4.2 40. Yeah, Clemson hasn't been ever favored in a playoff game. They've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. Clemson's won 2 of the last 3 national championships, and they've never been favored in a game. But I'm pretty good in this one. I like LSU here. I think they take it home. I'm going to wrap it up. I get too carried away. It's really what happens. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys halftime of Ohio State versus Wisconsin. I'm sure Clemson will be up by 70 at that point. Have a great rest of the game here. I'm going to go do some videos. Enjoyed it.